Hey everyone, it's Presley at ActOutGames.com here, and today we're going to be doing a pirate unit study, and I have no idea what's going to happen today.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about any of this yet. It's the first time Presley's going to be seeing some of it, and just continuing
All of it, I
guess, yeah. Continuing on our conversation about homeschooling, or the blog and the blog, I thought we'd start diving into some of the topics that we talked about in our overview a little bit more in detail. So today we're going to talk a little bit about ChildLED and what ChildLED means, and to us at least, and give a little bit of an example of how we do some ChildLED stuff. Cool?
Cool.
And then you can just chime in and give us your opinion like you did last time on some of the stuff we do. Okay?
Yeah, like Presley's perspective.
Right, it's almost like Presley's perspective, that's right. So, when we talk about ChildLED, which is a really important piece to us, it means a couple of things to me, I guess. Number one, it means like custom pacing is one of the most important things. So Presley can go as fast or as slow as she wants to, as much as she's ready to move on in a subject and learn more about a subject or spend some more time and dive deeper in a subject. We try and stay at that level wherever she wants to be. So if she gets really interested in something, we dig really deeply into it. If she doesn't really show any interest and she's kind of resistant to it, we move on and do something else and come back to it later, right?
Right.
It goes both ways. So it's both, we move faster than you would normally in a public school situation. Certainly what the criteria are for a certain grade level, we'll move faster than that if Presley's ready to move faster than that. We go deeper and go into further grades and look at textbooks for later grades. We go the other direction, or Presley's pretty bright, so we don't really have a lot of areas where we're lagging behind, and we have to move slower and dig into things. We do, like I said, run into areas where she wants to dig into a lot more detail and really understand some of the detail of how things work.
I really like biology. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, so
we're doing it every day.
She's doing really great with biology now, and that's another, like sometimes it's who is teaching, right? Where
in this case, it's Hank Green.
There's some really great Hank Green videos, and they're really entertaining, and she's learning a lot by watching the Hank Green videos about biology, where I think if I or my wife were trying to teach biology, the same subject to Presley, she wouldn't be as into it and wouldn't like it as much. So this is our whole, watch, talk, do thing. We're watching the Hank Green videos every night, and then we sit and we talk about them a little bit, and we do kind of pop quizzes in the car, and Presley and I will watch the video, and then when we're in the car going somewhere as a family, I'll get her to tell her mom about what we learned and how plant cells and animal cells differ and things like that, right? And so she gets a chance to teach somebody, which I think, and we didn't really talk about that in the other video, right? But I think teaching is a good way to learn something. So like when you're teaching things to Cooper,
you have to understand it.
Yeah, if you have to teach something to Mommy, it can be hard to teach something if you don't really understand it. Because people will ask questions you're really not ready for. Like you ask questions of me all the time that I'm ill prepared to answer. Because some of the things I don't know well enough to answer. But we get together and we look them up and we learn it together, right?
Right.
And that's a pretty good model. So pacing is one of the most important things when we talk about ChildLED. The other is like area of interest, right? So with biology, she shows an interest in biology, and we start digging into a lot of biology subjects, and we really dig in deep and spend a lot of time there. The other, I think I mentioned on the other vlog, the Harry Potter curriculum. We haven't really done a lot with that, but she likes Harry Potter. She's reading Harry Potter, and people have online these curriculums to start doing, how to learn things through Harry Potter, right? I haven't looked at it very much, so I can't speak to it, but that kind of thing. The thing I was going to talk about today, so this is just going to be an example of how we do it. Things are called unit studies. So a unit study means you take one subject, one thing that you're interested in, and you teach a bunch of stuff using that idea or that subject, right? I remember when you were really into dinosaurs, we talked about, I think you learned, excuse me, I think you learned the continents the first time because we were talking about dinosaurs and talking about what fossils they found on what continents, right? And when we were doing the animal classifications, we talked about what animals lived on different continents and things. So it's kind of that. Like she likes dinosaurs, so we talk about dinosaurs, but we talk about geography and we talk about all these things. There's a lot you can talk about with dinosaurs from a science standpoint. But the key is that these things don't always directly apply to that subject. Like dinosaurs is kind of easy because you're talking about fossils and paleontology and things that apply directly. Whereas what we're going to start today is a unit study on pirates. And why are you interested in pirates all of a sudden?
Because we're playing Assassin's Creed 4.
That's right. So we're playing Assassin's Creed 4
Black Flag.
Black Flag, which is a pirate-themed video game. So, and it's in the Caribbean and all the places, and Blackbeard is in it, and so they base these games
Probably like the most famous pirate ever.
maybe, yeah, very, very loosely on historical events. The last one was sort of Revolutionary War America. This one is pirates in the Caribbean, which is kind of cool. The game is fun. There's not a lot of learning going on in the game, but it's generated some interest in pirates. So I went online and I found this pirate unit study that someone has put together, and it's a good 20, 30 pages. It's just a bunch of questions. The answers aren't in here, but it has things about doing research and finding famous pirates, what years the pirates lived, and where on the map. And you get a map, so you can kind of draw on the map where the pirates' territories were, what kinds of things they did, what was the political system with the pirates, the difference between a pirate, a buccaneer, a corsair, and a privateer.
No idea there was even a difference.
That's what we're going to find out. You look up a lot of the famous pirates, and you pick 3 or 4, and you write a little story about them. So there's some composition and some writing and paragraph structure and sentence structure. There's building Venn diagrams, which we haven't talked about too much. But
I know what a Venn diagram is.
Yeah, so it's like a Venn diagram of pirate jobs on the land and the sea and where they overlapped, what you had to be good at to be a pirate, a lot of vocabulary, a lot of story writing.
Crossword puzzle.
Drawing pirate flags and what flags meant, and that can lead into things. There's all kinds of nautical themes in here, how sailing works, how the ships work, and how they use the wind and the hull to be able to go upwind. How do you sail upwind is a pretty fascinating question that we'll talk about during all of this. There's this really cool math. I was actually going to read this problem so you could see what this problem is, because I thought it was a pretty complex math problem that we'll solve together. Yeah, so how the pirate punishment, what the laws were that they followed.
I don't know what a cat of nine tails is.
But here's the...
It should be a fox with 9 tails.
What's a cat of nine tails?
It's like a whip.
Yeah, like a whip.
9 tails.
Okay, so listen close. I'll read the problem to you, and then by the end of this, you'll be able to solve it, okay? Mm-hmm. The frigate Man of War could carry a full crew of 190 pirates. When the ship returned to the Caribbean, the crew had acquired 900 pieces of 8. The crew count was at 90% when the quartermaster began to divide the booty. The captain receives 2 shares, the quartermaster receives 1.5 shares, the 2 gunners receive 1.25 shares of the money, and the remaining crew gets 1 share each, except for the 2 newest cabin boys, which received half a share apiece. So, how many crew members are on the frigate when the booty was divided? Into how many shares is it divided? How much of the booty did the captain, the quartermaster, the gunners, the remaining crew, and the apprentice cabin boys receive, and how much is left over? And then the bonus question, if you put 20% of the booty in reserve for future payments to be compensate pirates that lose a limb or an eye during combat or during their voyage, now how many pieces of 8 are left after the 20% restocking fee, and how much does everyone get, and how much is remaining? Right? So pretty complicated math, but it's in a pirate theme. That's how do they, and there's also like a political conversation, like I said, about how they structured the politics. Remember, we went and saw that pirate show at the Nature and Science Museum, right? And they talked about how they voted on everything, and they even voted on who was the captain. It wasn't like the person took over the ship or something like that. They voted, and they split the money evenly, and they had a lot of rules and things like that, right?
Apparently everyone loves Edward Kenway because he's still the best.
Right. So we'll talk through this. We'll build this problem out and kind of show how this math works. Again, a whole lot of vocabulary and a lot of nautical themes and things like that. So we're going to take a video game that we're playing right now and we both kind of enjoy. We're going to turn that into a unit study on pirates and study a lot of different subjects, math and geography and politics and some science and lots of different things.
Science.
There'll be some science in there. And so I think probably next weekend, today is Thursday today, and so we'll take next weekend, take about a week, and study this and do the unit study and dig into it and things, and then we'll do a follow-up video in a week and have a conversation about pirates, and you can show everybody what you learned about pirates in the week of doing our unit study. What do you think?
Good idea.
Sound good?
Yep.
We'll show everybody how our unit studies work.
Yep.
Anything that you want to share about the idea of child-led homeschooling or about unit studies or things you like or don't like? Since we're trying to get your perspective on
Not really.
some of the homeschooling
Everything
stuff.
we've done pretty much covers it.
That sound pretty good? Okay. You excited to learn something about pirates?
Yes.
how ships work? Play some more Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the no carpet now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we the other like Pokemon is another one, right? So Presley really loves Pokemon, and when you play Pokemon, you do a lot of math because you're figuring out how much health you have and how much you're taking away, and one kind of Pokemon can be 20% resistant to a certain type of attack, or 10% extra damage comes from a certain type of attack. So
Like Rixin to Bulbasaur.
yeah.
Rixin does more damage to Bulbasaur because he's a fire type.
What-
Bulbasaur is a plant.
What percentage more does he do? Do you know? Off the
No.
top of your head, it's like 10% or 20%. I mean, they're even.
I don't study the advanced Pokemon
Yeah,
stuff.
they're even numbers.
I just do stuff and try to get shiny.
But we were having this conversation. Remember, we were talking about the New York trip, right?
Right.
And how people that make video games that have math, for example, in them could make them a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the things you were saying, right?
Because we were saying in the car, like, I would not like a math game, which is like, now you did this game, now play do math. It's like kind of stupid. So you kind of play a game and you get math, and then just do math and have nothing to do with the story. That's not a really enjoyable math game. So, but an enjoyable math game would be math kind of incorporates into the story.
Like Pokemon.
Yeah, like Pokemon with no knowing how much HP you have, without knowing how much HP you have. So you could just calculate how much damage it did and how much health you have left, which is a good idea.
But it's integral to the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you don't like is you play a game for a few minutes and then there's like 5 math problems you have to do, and then you play the game again a little bit.
Yeah,
It's not really integral to the thing. It's just part of, yeah.
It's just part of the game. It's not the best thing to do, but
No,
okay, if you have to like force them to learn math.
We did agree that it was better than just sitting down at the table and doing math. Though,
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But it would be best if
Yeah.
it's just incorporated into the game.
Right.
So it's interesting. So a lot of games now, there's math in programming. Programming is math largely, right? We've talked about that before. So there's a lot of math
We
that
were
goes
trying
on.
to do programming, but then we stopped for some reason.
Yeah, we haven't done it for a while. We'll have to get back. But there's a lot of math in programming, and the programs do a lot of that math for you. So there's an interesting opportunity there for something like Pokemon in the video game, instead of the video game doing the math for you, to have you do the math and check your math and make sure that it's correct, just as part of the video game, calculating damage or hit points or how many things you need to collect, and all the Zelda kind of puzzles that you have to solve. I think that would be cool to have video games that the math is happening anyway. Why not make it part of the game is doing the math? And you could even have different versions of the game, a version that was just regular play for fun, and a version that you had to do the math, or you could turn on a level an option that made you have to do all the math to make it work. And there's some pretty complicated math, obviously, that goes on in a lot of programs. It'd be kind of cool to play around with that. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Cool.
We've
So
covered pretty much it.
we'll come back at this in about a week, and we'll have a nice long conversation about pirates and everything you've learned about them.
Great.
Okay. John A. Torte.
Bye. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.